Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Donny van de Beek is valued by Ralf Rangnick and will not be allowed to leave Manchester United next month. Van de Beek doesn't get enough starts at Manchester United, and I expected him to start a hell of a lot more games than he has done. Look at what Manchester United paid for Van de Beek. Manchester United got him in a deal worth 40 million, with add-ons included. Manchester United paid around 35 million up front, there's 5 million in add-ons. Van de Beek's got a contract with Man United until 2025, there's an option of a further year, and Van de Beek is versatile, he can play in 3 different roles. Now, Van de Beek didn't start against Norwich last weekend, but he did come on. He started in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys. He was in an unfamiliar role in that game. He was the holding midfielder. Van de Beek put a good performance out in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys, apart from the poor pass that he made that led to the Young Boys equaliser. You know, Van de Beek's only scored 2 goals for the club, and he's been a Manchester United player for over a year and a half. But revert back to when Manchester United had Solskjaer, Van de Beek didn't get enough opportunities, and reflecting on that, he was very frustrated. And towards the end of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure, Van de Beek confirmed that he will be leaving in January. So, anyway, that's the news on Van de Beek. Now, Ralf Rangnick, he's enjoyed a very good start to his managerial career. Alright. Yeah, Van de Beek, Ralf Rangnick, yeah, as I was saying, he's enjoyed a very good start to his managerial career at Man United. So far, he's unbeaten. Reflecting on the win against Norwich last weekend, that was back-to-back wins in the Premier League for Ralf Rangnick. Rangnick is Manchester United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then after that, Rangnick will continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. If Rangnick does well as the interim manager, there's a chance he'll get the Man United job on a permanent basis. Now, before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Rangnick has been given a £100 million transfer budget for January. He can get quite a few players with £100 million, and I've said that Rangnick needs to heavily invest if he is to succeed as Manchester United manager. Now, there's quite a few players that Manchester United are interested in. There's a good chance that Amadou Haidara will be Manchester United's... What? No! As I was saying, yeah, there's a good chance that Amadou Haidara will be Manchester United's first signing under the Ralf Rangnick era. Amadou Haidara has admitted that he's a Manchester United fan and also a Cristiano Ronaldo fan. Amadou Haidara has a £33 million release clause. Rangnick knows the player well because Rangnick used to manage RB Leipzig. Rudiger, Manchester United have also been interested in him. Rangnick could be an important factor in Man United's chances of signing Rudiger, because Rangnick has a good relationship with Rudiger's agent and brother. Not so long ago, Rudiger reportedly rejected a contract extension offer from Chelsea. His current contract at Chelsea expires at the end of the season. Earlier on in the week, Real Madrid held talks with Rudiger. Bayern Munich and PSG have also expressed an interest. I'd love to see Manchester United get Rudiger. Rudiger alongside Varane would be a very good centre-back partnership. They would complement each other well. Rudiger's been at Chelsea since 2017. Chelsea got him for around £29 million from Roma, and he's made 110 appearances in the Premier League for Chelsea. Let me put into the equation that Man United have done transfer business with Chelsea before. Manchester United got Matic from Chelsea back in 2017 for around 40 million, and Man United also got Juan Mata from Chelsea back in 2014 for around 40 million. Frankie Dion, Manchester United have also been in for him, but I've disregarded Frankie Dion coming because revert back to earlier on in the week. Frankie Dion's father admitted that Manchester United have a disadvantage in the transfer pursuit, something to do with the bad weather, his father was saying. Frankie Dion's at Barcelona. Barcelona got Frankie Dion from Ajax back in 2019 for £65 million. Timo Werner, he was mentioned a couple of weeks ago as well. The Manchester Evening News said that Rangnick wants a Timo Werner reunion at Man United. Jude Bellingham and Calvin Phillips have also been mentioned. So there you go. But next year, Rangnick's going to focus on the outgoings as well as the incomings. Apparently, Manchester United have decided on 5 players' futures. Quite a few are going to leave next year. Obviously, the news on Anthony Martial. Last Friday, Anthony Martial's agent confirmed that Anthony Martial wants to leave Manchester United in January. There's quite a few clubs that are in for him. Atletico Madrid are planning to offer a swap deal for Martial. Juventus have also been in for him. Newcastle have been in for him. Barcelona have been in for him. Not too sure where Martial's going to go. Not so long ago, Rangnick revealed that he's not spoken with Martial, and Rangnick told Martial to speak with him directly if he wants to leave. Now, obviously, Martial's not available at the moment as he's out with injury. Doesn't really get in the team anyway. Martial's only started 2 games in the league this season for Manchester United. Martial has only enjoyed 1 good season at the club. That was his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Martial has scored 79 goals in 268 appearances in all competitions. Manchester United paid an initial fee of 36 million for Martial from Monaco back in 2015. Martial's been at Man United for 6.5 years. He's got 3 years left on his contract. Earlier on today, I gave you the news on Edinson Cavani. Edinson Cavani is set to join Barcelona in January. Barcelona are seeing Edison Cavani as a replacement for Aguero, because Aguero recently retired due to heart problems. Barcelona have offered Edison Cavani an 18-month contract. Edison Cavani has rejected Boca Juniors. Would you like to see Edison Cavani leave Manchester United next month? Cavani's out with injury at the moment, but he's close to returning. He had an injury earlier on this season. Cavani initially lost his place in the team with the club re-signing Ronaldo last summer. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG. This season has been Cavani's second full season at Man United. Cavani's got a good pedigree behind him. Look at the amount of silverware he won when he was a PSG player. And not only that, he was a long-serving player when he was at PSG. Juan Mata, I think there's a good chance that he'll be leaving next year. I think Lingard's leaving next year. Matic, he could be leaving next year. I'm hearing that Amad Diallo will be going out on loan. Man United could sell Paul Pogba in January. Well, it would make sense to sell him in January rather than let him go on a free next summer, because next summer Paul Pogba's current contract at Man United expires. Revert back to the start of the season, Pogba rejected a new Man United contract offer. Well, not so long ago, Ralf Rangnick said he won't try to convince Paul Pogba to stay at Manchester United if he wants to go. Pogba's not available at the moment anyway. He's out with a thigh injury. He's been out with his thigh injury for a while. He's out until next year. Pogba got the thigh injury in France training earlier on in the season. Henderson, the news on him. Fabrizio Romano said yesterday that Dean Henderson wants to leave Manchester United in January to get more game time. Henderson's only made 2 appearances this season. Henderson doesn't really get in goal because, revert back to last summer, De Gea reclaimed that number 1 spot back. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Henderson had COVID. But towards the end of last season, Henderson got that number 1 jersey. And he did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for last season. Henderson's got that experience behind him because he endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield. He's also had other loan spells before with Grimsby, Stockport and Shrewsbury. Before the start of last season, Henderson signed a 6-year contract with Man United, so reflecting on that, he committed his future to the club. I think Jones and Bailly are also leaving the club next year. And I think Tellez and Dalot could be leaving next year, because Tellez and Dalot, who are our second choice fullbacks, only seem to play when Luke Shaw and Bissaka are not available. But obviously Tellez and Dalot have played quite a lot of football in recent weeks, because obviously Luke Shaw was out with a concussion not so long ago and he missed like 4 games in a row, and Bissaka's endured a couple of injuries. Manchester United, though, have got a lot of good players in their team. Look who we've got. We've got Cavani. That's a good player. Most of the time he performs well for Man United when he plays. We've got Marcus Rashford. That's a decent player overall, but I think Marcus Rashford has been very, very poor since he come back from that shoulder injury. Rashford's not been the same player since he come back from that shoulder injury. So reflecting on that, I think it's time for Rangnick to drop Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford was very poor against Norwich last weekend. He got dispossessed far too many times. He was poor in the 1-0 win against Palace. He was even poor in the 3-2 win against Arsenal, but still managed to get an assist in that game. Marcus Rashford has been part of the club for a long time. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. Rashford's got a contract with the club until 2023. Mason Greenwood, he's also a talented player as well. To Greenwood's credit, I think he's done really well since he come back from COVID. Greenwood came on against Norwich last weekend. He started in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys. He was very good in that game, Greenwood. He scored a very, very good volley. It was a lovely cross by Luke Shaw to find Greenwood. Greenwood came on in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace and he got the assist for the Fred goal. By the way, Mason Greenwood is upset that Cristiano Ronaldo always starts. Mason Greenwood was offered a life-changing amount of money to leave Manchester United back in 2019. That's what recent reports have said. Well, Greenwood made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been part of the club for a long time. And last season, Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. Jadon Sancho, I think he's also a decent player as well. Sancho's done nowhere near as well at Man United as a lot of Man United fans expected, but it does take some players time to settle in, doesn't it? Sancho was poor against Norwich last weekend. Sancho did very well in the first half against Crystal Palace, but he faded away in the second half. Sancho did alright against Arsenal, but Sancho was very good in the games against Villarreal and Chelsea because he scored in both of them games. Sancho scored only 2 goals for the club so far, but Sancho does look a better player since Solskjaer got sacked, because revert back to when we had Solskjaer was persistently playing Sancho out of position, and there was quite a few games Sancho didn't even play in under Solskjaer. You know, Manchester United got Sancho for 78 million with add-ons included. Man United paid around 73 million up front. Sancho's got a contract with Man United until June 2026. There's an option of a further year. You know, before Manchester United, Sancho endured 4 years with Borussia Dortmund. And he did well in his 4 years with Dortmund. Bruno Fernandez, he's also an exceptional player as well. Bruno Fernandez is one of our best players, and he's one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. But I've got to make an admission regarding Fernandez. He's been very poor in a lot of games this season, and I'm shocked in that aspect, because revert back to last season, Bruno Fernandez was absolutely superb. I think, you know, reflecting on his poor performances this season, you know, Ralf Rangnick must consider dropping Bruno Fernandez. Fernandez was very poor against Norwich last weekend. He got dispossessed a lot of times in the game. Fernandez had chances against Crystal Palace, but he couldn't convert them, so his finishing was poor in that game. Fernandez did alright in the 3-2 win against Arsenal because he scored in that game. I think the last assist Bruno Fernandez provided in the Premier League was the 3-0 win against Tottenham, and that was a while ago now, so that just proves how poor he's been. You know, Fernandez has been a Manchester United player for 2 years now, or almost 2 years. Manchester United got Fernandez from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. You know, revert back to earlier on in the season, Fernandez said he wants to stay at Man United, and he said he come to Man United to win trophies. He's got a contract with Man United until 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. Manchester United have got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo obviously scored the winner from the penalty spot against Norwich last weekend. Ronaldo won the penalty because he got dragged down by Max Aarons. But yeah, Ronaldo got the penalty and he converted it, so that's 13 goals in all competitions for Ronaldo since he re-signed for the club. And he's got 802 goals in his career. Ronaldo has won over 30 trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. Revert back to October, he got named Player of the Month, and revert back to September, Ronaldo got named Premier League Player of the Month, so he's had back-to-back awards since he re-signed. Ronaldo's got a contract with Man United until 2023, there's an option of a further year. Ronaldo receives £480,000 a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United. Ronaldo wears a number 7 shirt, and Man United got Ronaldo for 19.8 million with add-ons included. Fred, I don't think he's a good player overall, but Fred has done really, really well in recent weeks to his credit. You know, I hope Fred can continue with these good performances. You know, Fred played very well against Norwich last week and he was probably our best outfield player. Fred played well in the 1-0 win against Palace. He scored a stunning goal late on in that game. Wasn't only his goal against Palace why he was good, his overall performance was good. Fred made an impact in the 3-2 win against Arsenal because he got an assist in that game and he also won the penalty. And Fred was also good in the 1-1 draw against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. If you do remember rightly, Fred squandered a chance in that game. That came from a mistake from the Chelsea goalkeeper. Manchester United got Fred for around 52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk a few years ago now. Like I said, I think Donny van de Beek's a good player, but haven't had a great deal of a perception on him at Manchester United. Paul Pogba, he's a good player. Not only a good player, he's an imperative player as well. That Anthony Elanga, you know, he looks a good asset for the first team squad. Elanga doesn't get in the first team much, but Elanga did start in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys the other week and he came on in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace. Alex Telles, you know, he's a decent left back. He weren't that good against Norwich though last weekend. He did have a good chance in the game from the free kick, you know, hit the crossbar. But I thought Telles was far superior in the games against Palace, Arsenal and Chelsea than he was against Norwich. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Telles had an injury. The reason Manchester United brought Telles in was to provide competition for Luke Shaw. Manchester United got Telles for 15.4 million with add-ons included. We got him from Porto last year. I think Luke Shaw is a good left back overall, but Luke Shaw hasn't really proven how good he can be this season when he's been fit. And I'm shocked in that aspect because last season Luke Shaw was exceptional. Luke Shaw played against Young Boys the other week though, and he got the assist for the Mason Greenwood goal in that game. He had a good game against Young Boys, didn't he? I'm sure as the season goes on, Luke Shaw will regain his form. You know, Shaw's been at Manchester United for around 8 years now, so he's been a long-serving player. Shaw's got under 2 years left on his contract at Man United. He is injury prone, is Shaw, which is definitely a concern. We've got Wan-Bissaka. That's a good right back defensively, but the attacking side of his game is not so good. There's aspects of Bissaka's game that's got to improve. He's got to show more attacking intent. His positioning's got to improve and his crossing's got to improve. But despite that, he's still one of the best right backs we've had since Gary Neville. You know, Manchester United got Bissaka from Crystal Palace back in 2019 for £50 million. And this season is his third full season at Man United. Diego Dalot, he's also good when he wants to be. Dalot played against Norwich last weekend. Don't think he was too good in that game. He was far superior in the games against Palace and Arsenal than he was against Norwich. Dalot is our backup right back to Bissaka. Last season, Dalot had a loan spell with AC Milan, and reflecting on that, he gained some experience. Man United got Dalot from Porto for £19 million. I also think that Eric Bailly is a very, very good centre-half. I think, like I said, there's a good chance he'll leave now next year because Bailly doesn't get in the team much. Bailly lost his place in the team a while ago with the club signing Varane last summer, and for some reason Lindelof's been preferred to Bailly. Bailly had to come on against Norwich last weekend because Lindelof went off because Lindelof was suffering breathing difficulties and chest pains. Bailly started in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys, and what a performance he put out against Young Boys. Made some good clearances and some good blocks. I think Bailly's done well in all the games he's played in this season, apart from the game against Man City when Man United lost 2-0. Concern about Bailly is injury prone. Last season, Bailly signed a new contract with Man United until 2024. There's an option of a further year. Man United got Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016 for £30 million. We brought him in under the Mourinho era. I also think Raphael Varane is a very, very good centre-half as well. Haven't had a great deal of reception on him at United though at the moment because he's endured a couple of injuries. He's out with a hamstring injury at the moment, but he's close to returning. He did say if the game against Brighton would have gone ahead tomorrow that Varane could have made his return. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Varane had a groin injury and he was out with that groin injury for a few weeks. But he's done well in some of the games he's played in before he got these injuries. Manchester United got Varane for around 41 million with add-ons included. Man United paid around 34 million up front. Varane's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. Varane's got a good pedigree behind him. Look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at Real Madrid. He was also a long-serving player when he was at Real Madrid. Harry Maguire, he's a good centre-half when he wants to be, but hasn't really proven how good he can be at Manchester United because he's endured a lot of poor games as Maguire. He's had some good games, but he's had a lot of more poor games. I thought Maguire was far superior at Leicester than he has been at Man United, if I'm going to be honest with you. Maguire obviously played against Norwich last weekend. He was pretty poor in that game because he was struggling to get the ball out from the back. There again, Maguire had a good headed chance in the game from just outside the box, produced a good save from Tim Krul. Maguire did quite well in the 1-0 win against Palace, but that was the best game he endured for a while. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Maguire had a calf injury. And he hasn't been the same since then. Towards the end of last season, Maguire had ligament damage in his ankle. Man United overpaid for Maguire, got him for 80 million. So he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club behind Pogba. Lindelof, he's done well in his last few games. He's not a good player overall, so I'm saying the same thing as what I said regarding Fred earlier on in the video. I think we need to offload Lindelof next year. Lindelof is not on Varane's level and he's certainly not on Bailly's level. Lindelof's been at Manchester United since 2017. Man United got Lindelof from Benfica for around 31 million. As you all know, Lindelof's got a chest injury at the moment. Man United have got De Gea, that's a very, very good goalkeeper. He's back to his best now, I'd say. He's done really well this season. De Gea got man of the match for the game against Norwich last weekend. He made some very good saves in that game to obviously deny Timu Pukki. He denied Kabak twice from two-headed chances. You know, De Gea wants to spend many more years at Manchester United. Obviously, he's happy at Manchester United. You know, he's been a long servant. You know, this season is his 11th season at Man United. He has been with us since the Ferguson era. De Gea's got under 2 years left on his contract and he receives £375,000 a week. He has won everything domestically at the football club and he's made over 500 appearances for Man United in all competitions. He's made over 300 appearances in the Premier League. But revert back to last summer, like I said, De Gea reclaimed that #1 spot back and he decided to cut short his holiday by 2 weeks to fight for the starting place, and De Gea did say at that point that he's determined to fight for his Man United future. And you've also got Dean Henderson, that's a good keeper as well. So there you go, you know, Man United have got very, very good players. Earlier on today, I obviously give you the news on Kieran McKenna. Kieran McKenna left Manchester United as first team coach. And now obviously Kieran McKenna is the Ipswich town manager. He signed a 3-year contract with Ipswich. Kieran McKenna was Manchester United's assistant for around 3 years. I hope him good luck at Ipswich like I mentioned earlier on. As you all know, the Premier League confirmed yesterday that Manchester United's game against Brighton has been postponed due to COVID. So Man United have had 2 games postponed, not even in a week. You know, because earlier on in the week, Man United's game against Brentford got postponed due to COVID. A lot of games are getting postponed, aren't they, because of COVID. You know, recently Man United were hit with 19 new COVID cases because obviously Man United reopened the Carrington training ground because Man United's first team players returned to training, but revert back to Monday, Manchester United shut their Carrington training ground due to COVID. So anyway guys, that's everything to update with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.